Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of The Walking Dead Snack Bites, or I guess Fear the Walking Dead Snack Bites. It's been a while. We're going to talk about the Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 premiere, all the crazy stuff that happened, you know, the plane crash, all that stuff, and then also, obviously the big talking point, the Rick Grimes movie connection that they revealed towards the end of the episode. But before we do that, please make sure to follow all of our social channels below. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel or like us on Facebook if you're watching it there. So, getting right into it, this was a great premiere. I loved the episode overall. I remember when we watched the trailer together, I was just like, wow, there's a plane and like a bunch of other stuff. And like the plane crash within the first like 5 minutes of the episode, I think, or something like that. And I'm still not like entirely clear on why they had a plane or access to a plane. I think like Al made a comment or something like when she was on the radio, she was like referring to like somebody else, I guess, who had a plane, and then she's like, "We need you to pick us up" or something. There's like a big,
pretty sure that's a reference to Daniel, because that's who Strand goes to talk to.
Okay, yeah, possibly. Which is actually good that you bring that up, because I'm very, very curious about how they're going to address the fact that they literally did not even mention his name the entire last season, which is sort of weird when you think about it, because the last time you see him, he's at the dam with like Madison and Strand and everybody, all the other main characters, right? And the dam collapses, and like season 4 opens up, and you know, they never even mention him again. They never, nobody asks where he is. Nobody's like, did Daniel make it out? Blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming maybe like the actors just, he was like tied up with other things. They didn't know if they were going to be able to get him back or something.
And then we did the time jump, and you know, they were getting ready to give all the other characters the boot basically. So it just wasn't really a lot of room for him.
It was just a little weird. I mean, I would have thought that somebody at least would have at some point said like, you know, did Daniel get out or anything like that, but all right, whatever. He's back now, clearly, because he talked to Al. We saw that on the camcorder. Strand was looking through her tapes, popped one in. His name for the tape was like Skidmark, which nobody really knows what that means.
The biggest thing in this episode, I think, was obviously the group loses the Denim Factory, something that they were using as their home base for their helper operations. We have
a new villain called Logan.
I don't know that he's a villain though. Like everything that he said, like it was bogus that he led them that far out.
He's a new protagonist, or I'm sorry, new antagonist. We'll call him.
I don't even know if that's even accurate, because one, it is his denim company. He owns it. Like he didn't have to break the locks to get in.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, just like the, you know, opposite side argument of the protagonists, which are the main characters. He's an antagonist, but I don't know if I would call him a villain. A villain is like just evil, you know? He doesn't seem evil to me.
He's not a villain. He's bogus for leading them that far out, and now, you know, one of their people is injured and whatnot, but he left all of their stuff outside of the gates so he could pick it up. I mean, I don't...
The only thing that, like, bothers me about him is that, like, I get what he's saying, you know, like, it was mine to begin with and all that stuff, but it's like, if he talked to Morgan over the radio that much and he knew that like Morgan's intentions were good and that he was like legitimately trying to like help people and like save them, it bothers me that like Logan would be like that quick to like screw over somebody like that, you know, especially...
he definitely said that he wasn't his partner, the C in the, is it DC or whatever it was, or LT, or I can't remember the initial.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But he said I wasn't down with that, and I told him, and he decided to go off on his own to give out our stuff, and half of it's mine. It's like, you know, now that he's gone, it's all my stuff. So I don't see, like,
well, you'd think though that like he would at least, I don't know, like maybe tell Morgan that. I feel like based on like Morgan's whole mission, you would assume that Morgan would probably be sympathetic to that and understand that.
But would Morgan leave? Would they have left is the question.
Yeah.
And he wanted them to leave.
It just seems cold to me. It doesn't seem unfair. It just seems cold.
No, cold would be creeping in on them in the middle of the night while they're sleeping and then stabbing them in the head.
Like somebody else we know from the other show.
And you wouldn't even have to pick the locks to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I get where he's coming from. Like, I understand the logic. It just seems like kind of a dick move, I guess is what I'm saying.
It could have been a whole lot worse.
It could have been a whole lot worse.
He could have definitely snuck up on them. They wouldn't have never seen him coming.
I think this is the first villain, or not villain, but, antagonist in either of the shows, actually, who stated openly, like, right from the very beginning, like, I'm not interested in, like, a big standoff and, like, a war. You know what I mean? Like, usually it's like, well, if you don't go, I'm gonna fuck you. You know what I mean?
Frankly, that was refreshing.
Yeah, I know. He's, like, the first one who's just been like, I just want what's mine. Like, I'm not trying to, like, take over you or, like, kill anybody. Like, I just want what's mine, and then we can go our separate ways. But that's another thing, that too, is, like, he led Morgan, like, into, like, a dangerous situation where now...
Yeah, that was bogus.
That's...
I mean, but technically, it was Morgan and his team who decided to go out on this dumbass mission anyway. So, to be fair, he's not totally to blame. They made the choice to go out and try and find him, and he played off of their kindness. Naivety,
I guess, is the word.
I was gonna say stupidity, but
naivety. I mean,
I think they all the above.
Like, it's Morgan. Come on, like he's a reformed.
They all needed a mission, and that was, Logan was their other rescues didn't pan out. They were either missing or already dead. So I think the team feels more robbed of the mission than anything, because now they don't have the supplies to give people. So, sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
They could have set the whole thing on fire, which is what happened to the baseball field. They could have.
Very true.
Boxed them in.
That's why Madison ended up dying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things that they could have done where a bunch of people died, and he didn't do that. So I would just leave the man alone. Like, you know what? We've been in this apocalypse like 10 years or whatever, and all the times we've seen someone take a place from someone else, it never ends that peacefully.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to his credit, at least he led them to a place that had some supplies and like a backup generator, so they could have electricity and a bunch of water and stuff. At least he didn't lead them to a desolate, empty place where
there were a bunch of strange Blair Witch type stuff hanging around, but if they had access to a vehicle, they could have taken the cans of food, and there was water there. And
so let's talk about that. I mean, what the seriously, I don't understand. So it's a little bit, it's a mixture between the Blair Witch Project and the Whisperers. Because not only did we see the heads hanging and then there was that big chain of walkers that was acting as a barrier they had tied together, but then also Alicia saw that other walker whose face was carved off, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
It's like a serial killer hanging out in those parts or something.
It doesn't strike me that would be, whoever's doing that stuff is the same people with the suits on who are part of the same organization that took Rick. And we'll get to that in a second. But they seem like a highly organized organization. I don't see them going out and chopping up walkers and crap like that. I think that's a separate party.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a serial killer that survives and thrives in the apocalypse. That's what this feels like. Or
are they still a serial killer if they're killing the dead?
Who said that they were dead when they killed them?
Oh, good point. All right. We don't know.
The governor had a collection of walker heads as well from people he killed, so...
This is true. That's a very good point. I don't know. We're gonna have to find out more about that.
Oh, how messed up would it be if you get, eviscerated while you're alive? Actually, they used to do that in, medieval times. So.
That's...
Still
Braveheart. Yeah, that's how the main character does. She's never seen Braveheart.
No, I have seen Braveheart.
Oh, you have?
Of course I have.
Oh, yeah. It's way too long and not very good. Anyway.
I liked it.
Getting back to so anyway, I guess that's a good segue into the most pressing topic, is that when Al, I like you as a character, but man, that was real dumb. Let's not wait until the next day, even though Morgan was like, that's fine, we'll go the next day. Let's go in the middle of the night.
Alone.
All alone. That was just a blatantly, that was like a Daryl stupidity level move.
I don't put this fire. I just want to say, I want to point out that Morgan, the black man, said, let's wait until daylight when we can see things. And the white woman was like, I'm going to run out in the middle of the night during a rainstorm by myself.
Anyone with a modicum of common sense would know not to go until the next day. She went in the dark.
Alone.
Like, holy crap.
In the rain.
So, anyway, I mean, whatever.
Where did she think the walker was, like, what did she think was going to
happen?
happen?
I know, it's already dead. Like, you can go back the next day.
It's impaled, so he can't walk away.
So, yeah, she comes back to that walker and discovers a bunch of weird stuff. Those, like, slides, that little booklet that they had.
They look like state
They look like they look like, well, they actually look like outlines of states. I haven't gone back and looked to see if they actually are the shapes of actual states. It could be just like territories in Texas. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But the most important thing is that the logo that was featured on that is the same logo on the side of the helicopter that carried Rick away.
And on Jadis's applesauce can.
Yeah. So, like, this organization was, you know, is. Jadis, like, is not just working for them. They were, like, providing her with food and, like, basically everything. It looks like that she was able to survive. And so now I was wondering, in The Walking Dead, actually, you know, that little underground apartment that she had, I'm like, wow, that looks like amazingly well kept, right? Like, it's all clean.
That was definitely one of those, like, those refurbished train car deals where you just make a big studio apartment out of them.
I'm assuming that this mysterious organization also provided her with that as well.
Of course. And
all the other resources that she's been using to survive. So, like, this is like a far-reaching entity, because, you know, all the way in Virginia in The Walking Dead, and then here in Texas. So this is like a, you know, presumably a countrywide thing. We still don't really understand, like, what it is that they're up to. I mean, we did a video about, like, the theory of what, you know, an A versus a B means. Check that out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, so, and they added a couple other interesting elements to it. The guy who was wearing, the guy who got impaled, he was wearing this crazy suit, which, like, at first I was thinking, like, maybe it was an anti-radiation suit, because it was, like, in the area of, that was, you know, with radiation signs, warning signs all over the place. But now I'm not so sure, because the fact that there were wires coming out of it.
Copper wires.
That's weird. I haven't been able to figure out anything even similar in real life that compares to that. There's, like, electrical current running through the suit for some reason. Does it have something to do with the walkers? Does it have something to do with, like, I don't know, like, what, like, energy or consumption or creation or something like that? All these questions remain. I read one theory that I thought was kind of interesting, because I guess in the comic, the Commonwealth, they have these iconic, like, white armored suits, and that maybe this is, like, the show's answer to that in some way. And also, Andrew Chambliss on Talking Dead said that there were original plans to feature the suit on The Walking Dead, but then they didn't do that for whatever reason and brought it over to Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what that means. If you guys know what that means, or think you know what that means, leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear it. So many questions. And so actually, you should talk about how you think that this might feature Rick at some point in the show.
Oh yeah. So this is before the initial time jump of season 9 in Fear the Walking Dead. So I think at some point during the season, and it'll totally suck. It probably won't be Morgan. Someone is probably going to either come across or hear from Rick Grimes, I think, as a lead up to the films, since the Fear timeline is on a lag. I mean, obviously these guys who work with Jadis are in close proximity to the Fear group. And I definitely think that this is going to be their way of connecting all the universes, as well as, you know, giving a big signal boost to the Fear show, which I know is still lagging in, like, terms of ratings and stuff. They haven't given up on it, though. They haven't given up on the show.
Which is unfortunate, because it's so good now.
So, like, first they have Morgan, then they're going to bring in Dwight.
Yeah, because he'll get a huge pull.
He'll get some, I mean, he had some fan, not me, But he had some fans that might be curious to see, like, people want to know what happened to Dwight. Does he ever find Sherry, whatever. And then they're gonna have obviously a cameo. Like, just because Rick has left the show in the official star capacity does not mean that Andrew Lincoln is forbidden from guest starring from either show. So I definitely think he will have a guest starring role on Fear the Walking Dead at some point, and then of course he'll inevitably get separated from those people.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, Scott Gimple basically has the job now of like connecting three completely different entities: the original show, Fear the Walking Dead, and the Rick Grimes movies, which are still basically a mystery. I mean, nobody really knows even like the basic plot or anything. I don't even know if they're written yet entirely.
If I had to guess, it's now June that at the very least the first film has been written. Writing a screenplay for a film can take, I mean, it depends on the writer, but Scott Gimple is obviously a very seasoned and professional writer. I am positive that first movie is done.
We would hope so. I hope that maybe like at San Diego Comic-Con they'll say something about it. If they don't willingly, I'm sure that somebody is going to get up and ask a question about that.
Will be us.
Yeah, possibly. I want to know more, man. This is crazy. I really like though that they're integrating elements of the original show into the new show, and like, I mean, the new show is really good. I mean, any of our fans that are watching this right now that have not started watching Fear the Walking Dead, like, please check it out. I mean, this last season and then this first episode of this season so far, I mean, the show is so good.
If you just start with just last season, you won't be terribly lost. It'll be like coming into, a new movie. Like, you don't, like, there are plenty of movies and shows where they just kind of start with, a group of people. You don't necessarily have to see, the beginning of this show to understand what's happening and who they are to each other.
Yeah, I really liked season 3, but if it's too like boring for you or whatever, it's fine. You can go directly to season 4. You don't really have to know anything that happened in season 3.
Yeah, season 4 is basically a reboot of the show.
Yeah.
So
it could be treated as a series premiere.
Yeah, you could definitely treat it as a pilot, for a totally new show, and you won't be lost at all. Yeah. So for those who don't want to start at the very beginning, which I wouldn't recommend because you probably wouldn't make it through anyway.
Yeah, the first two seasons aren't great, honestly, and literally nothing that happens in the first 2 seasons I think is relevant at this point anyway. So. Yeah.
And season 3 was good, but you need to watch seasons 1 and 2 in order to get it. Season 4 is a reboot of this. Like, I've never really seen anything like it, like a show that rebooted itself halfway through.
It's kind of a miracle, honestly. Like, I did not think that this show was going to last at the end of season 3. I was thinking it was probably going to be done, and like what they've done with it is nothing short of a miracle, honestly.
Well, it is a testament to a true writer.
Yeah.
So the 2 new showrunners,
those guys are good.
They're amazing.
They're real good. And that's one thing, actually, that's the only thing we didn't talk about is John Dory. He is continuing to become like one of the most beloved characters for me, like in the whole universe. He had this like really sensitive moment with June where basically they just kind of like reinforced the fact that like now, because he sees himself as being such a lucky one, he's like devoted himself to helping everybody else. He's like the ultimate humanitarian in the universe. And I love the relationship between him and Morgan. I think he was like the perfect invention to complement Morgan, like in this new version of the show.
Well, they didn't really interact that much. It was really more Morgan and Alicia this episode, like him being, I don't want to say father figure, but like, something to her. He's
whatever the people around him need to be at the time, like he just kind of loves people and wants to take care of everyone. So I'm really interested to see the further character development with him. I love that character. He's awesome.
Wait, who are you talking about?
John Dory.
I was talking about Morgan.
Well, both of them.
Morgan and Alicia was more the focal point of this season premiere.
Well, she needs a father figure.
Oh, she's got one now.
And a mother figure.
No, you just need one better.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else about this so far?
Nope.
I mean, Talking Dead is on hiatus until I believe the mid-season finale, so we're your Talking Dead. Look at us that way now.
We didn't say that. But if you want to look at us that way, you can.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like our content, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also like the Facebook page. Please make sure to follow all of our social channels below. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about this video. Let us know about other videos you would like us to do in the future. Again, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.